Hey folks, Jonathan here. Went and picked this truck up yesterday. This was the other truck I bought, or the truck I bought at the auction. It's 1955, big back glass. Somebody had done it and painted it. I mean, it's got some stuff where they didn't prep good on the door, and it's got a little Bondo in the rocker in the corners, or cab corners. So it's not a big deal. You know, we was going to put our other Perkins in this thing, and I was missing. It has the hood and the passenger door, and everything else was missing. And at the auction, I bought 2 beds for this thing. And I had lined up a deal with a buddy of mine. I bought a grill and a few other pieces, but I lined up a deal with a buddy of mine to get the rest of the front clip parts. But I had till today to get everything out from the auction. And I actually picked this up yesterday. And the day before, I had a driver out, so I couldn't go. But anyway, long story short, I get up there and someone has stolen both of the beds I bought. And both short bed step side, both nice beds. I'm sure it was a scrap guy. One of them got it, and you know, I was kind of, well, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was really pissed off. And I mentioned that if I found out who done it, I was gonna take a baseball bat to him, and then I couldn't get anybody to admit to doing it. So I should have kept my mouth shut, but I was pretty mad. And you know, I'm pretty sure I know which one got it, and I didn't get my money back for the beds, and I didn't get my beds. So, but we're not done yet, and you know, I just gotta try to keep calm, keep myself from getting in jail over this stuff. But yeah, pretty mad about it. You know, I had so many loads I couldn't get everything at once. So, I mean, I've done what I could do, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen on this truck. You know, I picked up 2 old bedsides there that are Ford, but I mean, you know, I want the original bed on the truck. And, you know, I didn't pay much for it, but that's not the point. You know, the bed, or both beds actually, was pretty cheap, but like I said, that's not the point. And the point is to replace them, it's going to, you know, be quite a bit of money. That's why I was at the auction in the rain all day, because I wanted, you know, to get a deal. But, so we're going to see what happens on this thing. You know, I got a good title, but I'm pretty aggravated with it, and you know, I hate to blame the truck, but anyway, so we're playing around with something else, and I'll show you what it is. Okay, folks, I've got the 235 in the shop, and I went ahead and just made a bracket real quick for the back with some rollers on it. Working on the front one, I'm going to knock something out real quick, just a quick and easy, you know, nothing really nice. And I just took a plate, 1/4-inch plate, and drilled the holes and cut it out, and then just welded it to a piece I already had that had rollers on it. And I just want to be able to move it around. I've got another piece that has rollers, the swivel rollers, and we'll go ahead and get 2 pieces made up to come up to the mounts, and that way it'll hold it, and we can at least move the engine around. I don't like, you know, being stuck, being able to not be able to move something while I'm working on it like that. But the problems we have with this, you know, for starting, because what we're trying to do is keep this on the cheapest can be, because, you know, this is a $25 junkyard engine. We don't know anything about it. We don't want to go sticking a bunch of money in it before, you know, we figure out whether it's even worth sticking money in or not. Now, I did check the numbers, and they're on this pad, and it's a 1957 235. It's a Thrift Master, so it come out of like a 3100 truck, or maybe a little bigger. Still not sure whether it's Babbitt or not. Have no idea, but you know, that's not important right now. You know, if it's Babbitt or insert, if it knocks, it's either way. It's not going to be any account to me. So what we're going to do, starter is broke, solenoid's broke here, starter is actually broke here where it got dumped up there at that auction, and of course the distributor cap's broke. Found a distributor cap local. Surprisingly, I had one old auto parts store keeps it in stock, so that's $11 or $11.99. I think we're going to go pick one of them up. As for the starter, what we're going to do is take the solenoid off. We'll just put the power to here, and I'll manually put the Bendix in. And there's no use buying a starter. You know, they're not cheap anyway, but there's no use buying a starter or hunting up a nose cone, because I don't have any of these 2-bolt nose cones. But there's no use doing it until we know, you know, whether it's worth doing or not. So I'll be $12 invested in on a cap, and we'll check it out. The oil dipstick tube's missing. So I'm going to try to see if I can figure out something in there to check the oil, you know, or put some in it. You know, I don't want to fill it up or nothing. Now we've got a return line off of our oil bath air cleaner, or oil bath oil filter that is broke, and we've got, this is where the gauge would have hooked up. So what we'll do is we'll take this line, which is the line that goes over to actually oil the top end of the engine. We're going to unhook it and from the oil bath, and we're going to move it down to here, and then we'll do away with this line temporarily. So basically what we're doing, we're going to bypass the oil bath just long enough to fire it up and see how it runs. Okay folks, I figured I'd show you what I've got here. You know, this thing is broke, but it's also bent the linkage on it. You know, I could bring it back down there and weld it, but we're just trying to get it to turn over. Now, shoved it in, it should, okay, it's turning over there. It may keep turning over until that bendix kicks out. Let me see. Okay. Well, as long as it's turning over, it should kick itself back out when it starts and overruns it. So sounds pretty good. Sounds like it's got compression. Don't hear any rattling in the bottom or anything like that. So might work out pretty good. So we'll keep at it and see what we can do. Okay folks, we've got the points out, and you should be able to see there that they're really corroded and dark, but nothing a file shouldn't take care of. And we'll get these cleaned up and get them back in and get them adjusted, and should be able to get some fire on it. Shouldn't be any problem. Alright, show you more. Okay folks, we've got the points cleaned on it, and hooked the coil up and turned it over. We're getting a spark. We're not getting a really good spark. We're getting an orange spark. It's a good one, but it's orange. So. But that coil may be bad, but or it could be the condenser. But we're gonna try it like that and see what happens, and we'll go from there. Still don't have my cap here yet, so as soon as I get it, we'll figure it out. Okay folks, I haven't got my front mount made yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I get these up on top dead center. I got my new cap, and I just set it on there. We can take it back off, but there's no timing marks on the well, I was gonna say harmonic balancer, but there's none on harmonic balancer or the pulley. So the pulley's on the inside. But the way to get it up on top dead center is to actually tap the ignition. Put your finger over the plug hole and just tap it until it blows your finger off. Okay, that was it right there. And what we'll do is we'll put the screwdriver in. I can feel the top of the piston right there. But what we can do is rotate the engine back and forth until the piston is completely up on top dead center. Figure out where our button is pointing. And we see it's pointing straight toward the engine right now. We would take our cap, set our cap down on where it belongs, and we would know that the one pointing toward the engine is number 1. And then we go in firing order, which I'm assuming this turns, yeah, clockwise rotation. And we would actually put our wires on clockwise according to the firing order, and that's all it takes. There's not much to it at all, but we already know where number 1's at. So we can stick it all back together, and we'll see if it'll fire up. Okay folks, I had to walk in and get the firing order. You know, I got the V8 order memorized from when I was about 14 years old. Now the 6-cylinder, I didn't even have it. What you do, you know, we figured out number 1 was right here, closest to the block. So the firing order is 153624. So you'll get your 5th one, and you'll know that that's the next one in clockwise order around the distributor cap. And then 3 and 6, because you know your cylinders on the engine is always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight back. So 6, here's number 2, and number 4. and put our coil wire on, ready to hook power to it, and I'm just going to pour just a little bit of gas in it and just see if it pops or fires here. Give me just a minute. Okay, I've just put a little bit of gas in the bottom of this paint cup. We're just going to pour a little bit in the carburetor. And we're going to hook our wire up for our coil. Okay, so we know it's already trying to start there, and that's the first time I've tried it. What I'm going to do next is go ahead and get my front mount made before I knock my engine down off of my blocks there. And get that made, and then we'll fire it up a little bit more, and then we will get the fuel system hooked up. I'm going to try it one more time though, just for the heck of it. Okay, it's running the gas out now, but I'm sure from the sound of it, it's definitely going to run. And we'll know something here shortly. I'll go ahead and get these mounts made, and then so I don't have to worry about it falling off, and then we'll go from there. Okay folks, we've got this stand finished up. It's just a temporary, you know, with casters on it where we can roll it around, move it around. At least now it won't, I don't have to worry about it falling off or falling down. And you can see the front's just a little bit higher than the back, and that actually levels that carburetor out. And we're going to go ahead and pour a little more gas in the carburetor and roll it over and see what it does again. We've got our oil lines taken care of over here too, so temporarily anyway. All right, let me get this camera set up. I'm gonna move it. I know this light's terrible, and I'm in the shop looking out, so we'll get her set up somewhere else here and try it. Okay folks, I heard a noise in it, and it turns out I forgot about my clutch fork here. Clutch fork's beating in there on the pressure plate, and I'm going to get that out of there. I'm going to have to take this side off and push it through. Yeah, just about forgot. Well, I did forget. Alright, let me get that off there, and then we'll see what we can do. Okay folks, I fired it up one more time after I got that clutch fork out of there, and sounded much better. I didn't hear that ticking back there, so I think we got a good engine here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this carburetor apart and get me something above it, and just a gravity feed. I'm not going to run through that fuel pump, and that sediment bowl's pretty rough too, but we'll get that figured out. But I'm going to get something set up for a fuel system, and then we can run it just a little bit longer. And I'm sure the accelerator pump's shot in this, so it's not going to have good acceleration, but if we can get it to idle and, you know, be able to rev it up just a little bit and check it out, I think it's going to be fine. And we won't run it too long because we don't want it to get hot, but once that's done, you know, the next step will be to build something and get a radiator set up. And you know, once we do that and we're able to run it for, you know, 30 minutes or so and make sure everything's really good, and then we'll go through and put some gaskets in it, which I don't see a lot of leaks. The only leaks I've really seen, old leaks, is valve cover, which it's actually kind of loose. I could move it. And the fuel pump's leaking a little bit of oil, but we'll get it good and clean, and you know, get everything straightened out, and then we'll actually get some paint on it. If, you know, if it turns out fine, and maybe tune it up, put new plugs, and points in it, and we're going to figure out something on that starter. And but I really, so far, I've been real impressed with it. I think it's going to make a good engine. But I want to at least, before I end the video, I want to at least go ahead and get the carburetor straightened out where we can let it sit there and idle a few minutes. And I still haven't seen a bit of smoke out of it. And I'm really surprised because this thing had been rolled on its side and everything else. So, really impressed. It's not skipping or missing or whatever you want to call it. It's running on all 6 cylinders. And no blow-by. I think it's a really good engine. So, but I'll show you more. Okay, folks, got the top off. It's nice and clean in there. Evidently someone must have run it out of fuel or something before they stopped it. Accelerator pump, once you get some gas on it, it might actually work. We're going to go ahead and clean this out. You can see the needle stuck. Well, maybe you can see it. Needle stuck in it. And we'll get that unstuck and clean these jets out. And didn't hurt the gasket at all. Looked like someone had sprayed some purple, or some copper seal on it. So it's been apart, of course. But we'll get this all cleaned up and blow it through and make sure all the passages are clear. And then we'll try to get some fuel to it. I think should run fine. Alright, I'll show you more. Okay, folks, we've got our gas tank mounted up here. Got it running through a filter. Got a clear line. I kind of like them clear lines because I can, always see if there's air bubbles in it or if it's running out of gas. But we've got it all on there, and well, got a little bit of a oil leak there on them lines, which is not a big deal. It's still oiling good. And the valve cover gasket's leaking. Of course, it was a little bit loose anyway. We'll start it up here and see how it works. Good, no smoke. All right, runs real good, so got lucky with that one. We'll probably fix a few things on it and clean it up a little bit, and then we're going to get a radiator mounted on it too, and just an old one will be fine. Anything we can weld off the front of our stand here, and we'll get it where we can run some water through it and let it run for an hour or so, and see how she works out. It's probably worth buying a starter for now, and we've got to hunt up a dipstick too. I borrowed one out of another 6-cylinder I had and checked it, and I ended up putting 2 quarts in it, but we had it leaning over on its side when it busted all that, and it lost a lot of oil, so we're good now. It's leaking a little bit around the valve cover and stuff, but no big deal. No blow-by, no smoke. The valves ain't ticking real bad or anything. Looks like it's going to turn out to be a good engine. The last thing will be that, testing to make sure it's not going to overheat or it's not putting any water in the oil or anything like that, and which I'm pretty confident it's not. So, like I said, we got lucky on this one, and we've still got the slant 6 to check out eventually, but I've got a carburetor for it, just don't have a starter. But anyway, you'll see this one, I'm sure, in the future. We'll find an old Model A or something, stick it in, an old rat rod or something. I mean, these are good with split manifolds, and we can make an intake for it. I've done these before. I actually done a 3-deuce intake, but the center one's the only one that ran. The other ones were just fake, and it's kind of neat. But but we'll get her all straightened out. Alright, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time. Bye.